past few years, I've sent millions of cold emails for myself and my clients, booking thousands of calls with ready-to-buy prospects. These calls include massive beasts like L'Oreal, ByteDance, and TikTok. What those millions of cold emails taught me is that there are clear indicators of cold email success. And not having these things in place is a surefire way to land in spam, irritate your prospects, and destroy your pipeline. In this video, I'm going to cover what those things are and how you can implement them to book 5 to 6 meetings every single day. Before we jump in, remember to hit the like button and subscribe for more B2B outbound content. Quick heads up before we jump in, this video is not going to cover the basics of cold email. If you're starting at zero, then I have plenty of videos on my channel, including a video called How to Cold Email in 2024 that'll take you through the basics. This video is for people who already know the basics and want to evolve to the next level. Okay, so now we've dived into the doc. I've broken this down into 6 key areas to make it easy to understand, and I'm going to break them down one by one. So to give you an overview of what these 6 areas look like, we've got the first one being cognize selfishness, the second one being the shock collar principle, and this is understanding pain, the third one being frictionless response theory, number 4 is outcome optimization, 5 mystery matters, and 6 your friend. Okay, so let's break them down one by one. I'll walk you through what I'm talking about, and by the end of it, you should have a really good understanding of how to make cold email campaigns that really, really resonate with people. So the first one I'm going to look at is cognize selfishness, okay? So let's break down what that actually means. So cognize is to understand or become aware of, and selfishness is the lack of consideration for other people. So understanding selfishness is one of the most important things you can do in your life, regardless of whether or not you use it for cold email. It's a super, super important thing to understand about human nature, okay? Everyone is hyper selfish, and that's for a very good reason. If we weren't, then there's a high likelihood that we wouldn't be here today, okay? In nature, selfishness equals survival. And this is something I see a lot of beginners and even seasoned business owners really, really struggling with. The cold, harsh, nasty, evil, but true reality is that no one, except maybe your mother and your father, cares about you and your business. But that's completely okay, because they care about something that is far more important. They care about themselves. Okay, and we're going to utilize this key information to create messages that tap into that selfishness. So to understand this better, let's look into an example. Okay, let's make up a made-up scenario here and imagine that you offer Facebook ads to gym owners in the USA. So most people would reach out and say just that. They'd say, my name is Tom and I offer Facebook ads to gym owners. Okay, so the problem here is that this is you being selfish. And what did we learn earlier on is that no one cares about you or your business. They care about what you can do for them, okay? So how would you reframe this? Well, the key thing here is to understand your prospects, who they are, their wants, their hopes, their needs, their desires, their dreams, and their hates. Doing this will give you a better understanding of what your prospect is selfish about. So for gym owners, and this is just a guess, so this is not an accurate thing here, but I wanted to give you an example of what this would look like. They're probably bored of people who join the gym and quit 1 month later. It takes ages to set them up, do the paperwork, get them inducted into the gym themselves, show them around, etc., etc. It's very time consuming and resource intensive. So knowing this, how could we write the cold email better to solve that pain point? So it could be, hey, gym owner, or whatever the gym owner's name is, if we could help you stop first month cancellations and increase customer lifetime value by 10x, or you don't pay a thing, would you be open to a call? So let's break down why that's a better option for you. Well, the first thing here is that this message taps directly into the selfishness of the prospect and targets the pain that they are desperate to rid themselves of, risk-free. Okay, the prospect now has an image in their mind of what their life would be like should this problem be fixed. And they're now selfishly interested in what you have to offer and are much more inclined to open themselves up for a call. So this is the first point here, cognize selfishness. So let's jump into the second point here, the shock collar principle, understanding pain. So to understand selfishness, we first need to understand pain. So people are selfish because they want to avoid pain and experience, in most cases, pleasure. Okay? It's the same theory behind shock collars that people use on animals. If you knew that you were going to get shocked every time you sent a cold email, you probably wouldn't send a cold email, okay? And you do everything in your power to not send cold emails, even if that meant hurting other people in the process. To put this into context for what we're trying to achieve here, we need to find out what the shock collar is for our prospects. What's the one thing that hurts them so much that solving it would be irresistible to them? And that by solving it, they become infatuated with you and your business. It's likely that if a dog had been getting shocked for years and you removed that shock collar, the dog would be forever grateful to you and loyal to you because you just solved its pain. And this is where time in the game, experience, and data come into play. It's unlikely that on day one, you're going to know exactly what your prospect's pain points are. However, over time, you'll start to notice patterns in replies and on sales calls. People start to say the same things. And this is when you press deeper and deeper because what you're about to find out is solid gold. And you'll know very, very quickly if you've sourced a real pain point for a prospect, because when you launch a campaign, you'll notice that results start flooding in. Leveraging the shock collar principle in your cold emails will absolutely guarantee you more appointments. The third one we're going to look at here is the frictionless response theory. So, when you go to buy something online, what is your typical first port of call? I'm going to make a guess here, okay? And I'm going to guess that this is Amazon. Why? Why is it Amazon? Well, you may have never considered this before, but there's a definite reason for it. And this is because it's convenient, okay? You know that 99% of the time, you can go to Amazon, search for anything, and find the cheapest price, the fastest shipping, and the quickest checkout possible. And that's exactly what Amazon is optimized for. I can swipe on my phone and have something delivered the very next day. It's so simple, and the key word here, frictionless. So we have to apply this theory to our cold email. The reason for this is again simple and taps into my previous point, which is pain. Most people look at their inbox as a to-do list. They wake up and see 15 emails from their boss, people working underneath them, and more that they need to work through to avoid being told off or being put into extra pain because they haven't achieved what they needed to achieve, okay? So your email slipping into their inbox only adds to their to-do list because it's unsolicited. Remember, cold email is unsolicited. They have not asked to receive your email. This is a very important point to remember throughout writing your cold emails and setting up your campaigns. So we need to optimize the email to be as frictionless as possible to digest and as frictionless as possible to tick off the list. So how can we do this? Well, the first thing that we can do is to make them short and sweet. Do not burden your prospect with reading because they will punish you by not reading it. Okay, that's super key. And the second thing is to use a scannable format. Something like this. Now, this may not make sense to you, but if you can structure your cold email to look like this is an incredibly scannable format. You can see that very quickly, you can get the key points, and you can get to the end of the email and tick it off very, very quickly. The goal here again is to make things frictionless. The third thing you can do is to make your CTAs, which is your call to actions, easy to reply to. You want to keep it short, simple, and you want to ask for one-word answers and not complex responses. And if you want a meeting, offer times and include a link. So once they've given you interest, go back to them and offer them some times, give them multiple times that they can choose from and include a booking link so that you can get everyone who, someone may not want to choose a time, they may just want to book in a call, or someone may not want to book in a call and they may just want to choose a time. You want to make it as easy for them as possible because again, this is an unsolicited email that you're sending them. You also want to remove unnecessary questions from your calendar link. So if you are going to include a calendar link, you don't need to have a full questionnaire to get them on a call. You're just trying to get them on a call and you can do all of that on the call itself. If someone goes through and they see that you've got 15 mandatory questions in your calendar link, there's a high chance that they're just going to go, screw this, I'm not bothered, and they won't fill it in. So make it simple and only collect the key information. So to go back to the Amazon point that I made earlier, I can't tell you the amount of times that I've abandoned checkouts while buying products because it takes me way too long to fill out and I've already got buyer's remorse. And this is super important, especially, as we move forward through through the end of 2023 into 2024 into 2025 with things like, TikTok, Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, content becoming so snappy, dopamine hits being everywhere. People's attention spans are getting less and less and less and less, okay? If something takes too long, people will not do it because they are lazy and they are apathetic. It's just the way that it works. So we need to optimize all of our outreach to match that and to be applied to that. So you should aim to make every aspect of your business frictionless, but applying this principle to your cold emails will absolutely get you more responses. So let's take a look at the next point here, and this is outcome optimization. So a lot of these principles and theories are linked, but you must understand them all individually so that you can piece them together into tangible results. So a very, very important point here, and this is discussing features is death. Okay, I just want to repeat that. Discussing features is death. This might sound completely harsh, but think back to pain and selfishness and remind yourself that no one cares about you or your business. Super, super important point. No one cares about you or your business. Okay, so now that we've reminded ourselves of that, let's get back to the point. We need to optimize our cold emails to be completely outcome oriented. So to explain a little bit more about what I mean, if you're, let's say for example, if you're a gamer, then it's likely that you've bought or been bought a console at some stage in your life. I have clear memories from my life of being bought a PS2, PS3, PS4 at Christmases and birthdays, at various stages of my childhood, and I remember clearly what I was excited about. Of course, what I was excited about was the new wireless remote and 5 times more RAM. And this right here is what most marketers get completely wrong. People do not care about features. They only care about the outcomes of those features. I wasn't excited about the wireless remote and 5 times more RAM. I was excited about the wireless remotes because I could play video games from anywhere in my bedroom instead of having to be within 2 feet of the console. I could lie in bed all day and play video games, and that was the outcome that I was excited about. And I was excited about more RAM because I could now play the latest Call of Duty without it lagging, meaning that my friends wouldn't laugh at me for being bad, okay? Outcomes that solved my pain and tapped into my selfishness, okay? And we're starting to get the idea now. The outcomes of the features are what I was excited about, not the features themselves. Using this principle in your cold emails will get you more appointments. Something that if you've ever worked in a sales job as an SDR or cold calling or whatever it may be, something you get taught very, very early stage in your training is that sales is a lot like dating. And this has a lot more truth to it than people think. If you can get a girl's number on a night out, you can book an appointment with a prospect because the principles are the same. So let's look at them, okay? Let's imagine right now that you're going on a night out with the sole focus of getting a girl's number. This is an imaginary scenario, and if you're a girl, you can imagine you're doing the opposite and you're going to try and get a boy's number, okay? So what do? Well, you probably, before your night out, you'll get a haircut, you'll put on your best clothes, and you'll spray aftershave everywhere so you smell nice. Okay, so these are all aesthetic things, and to be honest, they're probably the bare minimum that you would do to go on a night out. But when you enter the club, you've got to remember that you're not the only person who's had the same thought. Every other guy in there has had a fresh trim, they're wearing their best clothes, and they covered themselves in their best aftershave, which is all probably the same aftershave anyways. So now you're just another commodity. So how do you actually stand out from the crowd and get the girl's number? Well, you change the way that you are perceived, and you create that air of mystery around you. You act uninterested and aloof, do something that defies explanation and leaves her with questions, and you behave oppositely to everyone else. And what this does is it breaks the pattern and it focuses the girl, or if you're the girl, it focuses the boy on you, You're not just another chump in the club, there's something different about you. And by the way, this principle works just as well for women, as I just mentioned, as it does for men. And the smartest women use it to their advantage, before people trying to attack me for being sexist or whatever anything like that, okay? The key aspect of this whole method is to spark interest and leave them with questions. And again, this goes back to pain and selfishness. So you want a girlfriend or boyfriend because you are lonely and want companionship. You get a girl's number because it makes you feel good, and then you can go and brag to your friends about it. You take them home because you want to have some fun. It's all about pain and selfishness, and apply this exact theory to your cold emails. You do not need to tell the prospect everything about you and your service. Simply hook them and leave them with questions until you have them in the spot where you control the frame. Okay? This is why the goal of cold emails is to get someone on the call. You can turn a cold prospect into a warm lead desperate for your solution by just writing a few words. And this is a really, really important point. Now, the final point I want to cover here is called your friend. Okay, so let's say that you work a job and you're checking your emails. Who are you more likely to respond to? The first email being Karen from HR, who sent you an updated guide on pronoun usage in the workplace, or your friend updating you on the antics of last night at the client meeting. Okay, it's pretty clear. You're going to read and respond to your friend. And when your friend writes to you, they don't write formally. They don't always use 100% perfect grammar, and they don't bother to say best wishes. This principle can be applied to cold email. Use normal words, keep the tone casual, and imagine that you are writing to a friend. Don't be afraid to use humor, but don't make it cringy, okay? Everything is about context and relevancy. All right, so you've made it to the end of the video. So firstly, I want to congratulate you because I know it's a longer one, but I had to make this video as value-packed as possible. All right, so we've covered some pretty complex principles and theories here, so I recommend bookmarking this video and returning to it every so often so that you can refresh your memory. If you want more help getting clients and without having to do all the work yourself, go to the first link below. We're currently partnering with established B2B businesses to scale them end to end and remove all the risk by putting it on us. So if that's you and if you're interested in getting a system like this put into your business, then you might want to check it out. Okay, if not, that's also cool, and I hope you got a lot of value from this video. And I will see you in the next one. Remember to like, remember to subscribe for more B2B outbound content.